Hey everyone, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today I am talking to all you iPhone and iPad users out there because you may have downloaded one of these over 1,200 apps from the Apple App Store, and you, by virtue of that, may be infected, and these apps apparently are getting over 300 million downloads every single month. So this is actually ridiculous and a massive security problem. Now, this is coming from an article that I read in Security Week, and it is absolutely fascinating, and here's what's going on. Researchers at security company Sync claim to have identified malicious behavior in an advertising SDK or software development kit that is present in more than 1,200 iOS, that is the operating system that runs your iPhone and iPad applications that are offered within the Apple App Store. Now, this SDK has been developed by a company called Mintegral, which is a Chinese-based mobile advertising platform provider that has offices in the United States, Europe, and obviously in Asia and China. Now, Sync says it has only identified the malicious behavior in iOS versions of Mintegral in their SDK. The code does not appear to be in Android versions. They either haven't found it yet or it simply doesn't exist, as this may be just focusing on Apple devices. The company estimates that the 1,200 impacted iOS apps are downloaded roughly 300 million times every month, as I mentioned, which is insane. Because in the first quarter then of the month, of the year, we're talking about roughly, give or take, about 1 billion downloads or so of these maliciously infected apps. Now, this malicious integration goes all the way back to July of 2019, according to their research, to an older version, which means as they were developing and updating this SDK or software development kit, they kept this integration in. And here's the thing. So they are saying that they are dubbing this sour mint. That is what Sync is calling it. Mintegral, get it? Now, this sour mint can allow Mintegral to steal revenue from other ad networks used by applications that are integrating this particular SDK. In addition to ad fraud, it allegedly harvests URLs accessed through applications that use this SDK, as well as other system and device information that it's taking, which could provide the vendor access to highly sensitive information. We saw this behavior with another Chinese-based app, in this case TikTok, that was stealing a whole bunch of different stuff. And here we have another Chinese-based company that is gathering all of this information and going back to a law from 2017 from the Chinese government out of Beijing, that if you are basically gathering or have information on people outside of China, the Chinese government gets access to that. That's obviously a huge, huge thing. Now, Sync also pointed out that this behavior in this SDK appears to be looking intentional, meaning this is intentionally there because when this software development kit activates, it looks for signs of either a debugger or a proxy tool before initiating these basically secret scanning and fraud activities. This could be an attempt to determine if it's being analyzed and possibly a method for bypassing Apple's review process for applications published in the App Store, as it behaves differently when its actions are being watched or it senses that it is. And so that is one of the big problems that we've had overall with the Apple App Store. In 2015, Apple, in its infinite marketing wisdom, basically said, you don't need an antivirus, and we don't want an antivirus, a third-party antivirus, hooking into the Apple iPhone or the iPad via iOS, obviously. And so they removed all of the antivirus scanning capabilities from the App Store. If you go look at one of like a Norton or a McAfee, or take your pick, and you read the fine print of what it doesn't actually say, like it does on Android, hey, you can hit a button and it will scan the operating system. It will scan absolutely everything for you and let you know. It does other things for you, like web filtering, Find My Phone kind of stuff, but that actual scanning, Apple is relying on their own sandboxing system, and we are finding ways to get around that. Within the first couple of months, a malicious attacker was able to break that. We've eventually found out the CIA was walking through the Apple App Store as well. Their sandboxing and filtering system was being broken. And if the CIA are doing it, Lord knows other intelligence agencies probably could have done it as well, not to mention other infections that we've seen used by other countries to spy, including one coming out of, I believe it was either Qatar or the United Arab Emirates, where they were infecting thousands of iPhones for years and spying on some very prominent people around the world. And so this just continues to show us that, one, we tend to have a problem, or continue to have a problem, with Chinese-based apps as they are looking at us in a way, or rather gathering intelligence off of our devices and looking at our devices in a way that is, quite frankly, unacceptable. Just having personally worked, in China, as well as with outfits that use Chinese-based software, we know that Chinese software does not have the same traditional definition as spyware or adware as we have here in the United States and Europe. Basically, if you install a legitimate application here in the United States and that application decides to install something else without notifying you or giving you the option to deselect it, it is considered spyware. And that's what we have here, because I have personally installed Chinese-based software into computers in Beijing itself, and I have literally seen it install multiple applications without giving me any kind of warning or prompt whatsoever. So that is part of this. The other side of that is data collection as well. But the third side of this is that Apple is not really taking data security seriously. They have this amazing marketing hype, and I've heard it for years. And if you are in IT or cybersecurity, I know you are agreeing with me on this. But I remember back in the day, nobody that had a Mac had a virus scanner because, well, I'm running a Mac, so I can never get infected. That is an utter and absolute lie. Everybody's getting infected. I don't care if you're running an iPhone, an Android, whatever you're doing, there is a way to get into that system, which is why we want every tool in the arsenal to be able to defend ourselves, including good virus scanners that allow us to get a better insight into how these apps are operating, not just permissions, not just a sandboxing system that we have seen got broken, multiple times, especially multiple times in the last couple of months, as other things like with TikTok are coming up. So that's a huge, huge problem. But heads up, if you are running an iPhone, or an iPad, or running the iOS operating system, which is basically what those two devices are platformed on, because quite frankly, we have problems like this, and there are 1,200 apps right now that are basically maliciously phoning home to a Chinese company, and that is a very serious problem for hundreds of millions of users, if not billions of users around the globe. And so that is your news of the day. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.